So I think that's our point. In terms of getting ready for business, we're very fortunate. We invested in our sister business invested in an online software product to sell cars online. So we have sold about a third of the cars we normally sell at this time of year, and even in the closed period. Of those sales, 35% of them have been completed online by the customer doing it themselves. So that is a major step forward. And we surveyed the guests of our entire database actually last week to say, how are you going to want us to operate when we get back? So great responses. 15% of people on the database said they would purchase completely online. So that really changes. That's up from, if they asked the same survey last year, you're about 3%. So consumers are clearly wanting a different level of service. We're also actually saying they'll only do 35% of them said they'd only come in if we reassured them that the place was a safe place to visit, which is interesting as well. So you're not on the shopping list anymore unless you're a safe place to visit. So yes, we're doing distance selling. Yes, we've organised click and collect. We're allowed to. We're not allowed to do that in Scotland yet. And yes, we've looked at the showroom setup for when people do come in. So we've even done some, obviously the same thing applies for service. So guests them that can't come to the Scottish showroom even to get the car service. So we have to swap keys in the car park. So we've got sanitation stations in a van. We actually kitted out a van for every car park. So people can, we can demonstrate the safety principles we're putting in place with a team in the car park in a van, which is striped up. So we're doing all the things we think we can do. Obviously, we're not waiting specific for the legal information. You're having to make decisions. Our purpose at the minute is physical well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being, and financial well-being of our colleagues, and then try and do the same thing for guests when they come in. So you are feeling as if you're charging on with some of these ideas and the legal positions coming afterwards. But you're always just trying to do the right thing, I think, and that's where we're trying to do the right thing, and we're ready for whatever the government day that'll give us some clarity on what we do next.
And it's a question that Steve Whitten from SSW Automotive. Good morning, Steve. Thank you for your question. So what does this do in terms of changing the role of the sales exec? Because I can see, our learned friends here from the legal department having greater influence. But what does that mean for the salesperson?
I think understanding the legal position is clearly important. And then I suppose you've got to look at, well, that's great. But what's the opportunity that this brings? I think the opportunity now is that we can look at the role of a sales advisor, and every e-commerce business apart from ours has been pretty good at reducing cost of sale. We have done the opposite. So we brought the internet in, so we spent money on a website, we then spent money on Auto Trader, we spent money on SEO, pay-per-click, then we decided to have a BDC, then we had a digital sales advisor, and everything that we've done in digital, as opposed to most e-commerce people, has been an increased cost of sale. I think what we've got to try and look at is every time the customer does more of the sales process themselves, it saves us money. And if the customer is now wanting to do that based on the current environment, we've got a win-win. Now, it means we can redeploy sales advisors. I mean, it's a bit like in after sales. If online booking takes off, you don't necessarily lose your contact center people. You just redeploy them. Imagine if we could use them to follow up amber work. And a business like ours, like any sensible sized business, will have millions of pounds worth of amber work never followed up. So it's redeploying the resource you've got to increase your revenue rather than that resource being a cost. So it's the same in sales. Could the sales structure look different to provide the customer what they want? Well, clearly, if consumers are willing to do things online, we need to do it. That's the first thing we should try and get the customer to do is buy online. It's the cheapest thing we can get them to do. We've seen, just to back up what Carl said before, finance penetration on online sales is over 80% consistently. We've had some months using our online software platform where it's over 90%. We can't teach sales advisors to get that number. It doesn't matter how good your training academy was. I was fortunate to work for my dad. Previously, we had a great training academy, and then we've tried to replicate the same thing here. Very difficult. When customers, why do they choose to do it online themselves? Higher? I don't know, but they do consistently. That's what the data shows. They will also buy more add-on products themselves, and actually they don't ask for a discount. You think, well, wow, that's bigger margin because of finance add-ons and no discount on the car. Again, and then we're not paying any human resource to make that happen. The 6 stages in the sales process, the consumer is now showing that they're willing to do it themselves. That's incredible. So that's what, our sister company, SilverBullet, is pushing that agenda. That's their sales pitch, I would say, but it's actually true. It's based on the data. So we've got an opportunity with the way this has changed to move our consumers online, reduce our cost of sales per deal, and maybe redeploy our people in a different way. But that's what the customer wants to do. They're now doing it. Their data and the research we've done of our own database shows a significant increase of people willing to do more of the journey online. And it's an amazing opportunity. So I know there's some distance sale problems. I'm not belittling them at all. But in contrast to the opportunity, I think the opportunity, how to sell cars in the current format, will it reduce cost of sale? Will it increase margin? Will it help us sell more cars? Yes, we're now open 24/7. If you don't open on a Sunday like us, we're now open on a Sunday because you can buy the car yourself on a Sunday. So it's whether you're in store or online, how can we show that software as many times as possible? So can we show it online if you're on the website? Can we integrate with third-party websites and show the same opportunity? And then can you have a screen in your car park in your dealership where the customer on a Sunday can buy the car themselves? We're entering into a new world where people are making an awful lot more money than we are by buying and selling things digitally. And now we're there. And, you know, I can only speak from our personal experience, and everyone's different. But to go to 35% of our cars sold in this period, there's been 1,200 of them. So it's a decent number of cars where the consumers done it all on their own, I think speaks volumes. We didn't have that before this horrendous situation, but that's what's happened. And I think we need to see the opportunities and then run after them.